from RTO here. Hope you're all well. We nearly didn't have a show today. After I finished with work editing yesterday, I started feeling really groggy. My throat felt like I've been gargling razor blades. So it was an early night with a hot toddy. I feel a bit better this morning. So if the voice starts crogging, you know why. As I cough, I do apologise. But we've got plenty of fluids, so we should be alright. Right. Today is part 4, I think. If I look, yes, it's part 4 of the Jon Lord Story. So we've reached the stage of Jon's career where he joins Whitesnake. But I'm going to do the whole of Whitesnake because Whitesnake are one of my favourite bands. So Whitesnake, formed in London in 1978 by David Coverdale. He sort of did some stuff, some solo stuff, and just called it David Coverdale's Whitesnake or David Coverdale. But we will look at that show where we look at some of David Coverdale's solo stuff. So that's for another day. But he's the only person that's been constant through Whitesnake's illustrious career. I've had quite a few people, lots of well-known people have been in Whitesnake. So we'll go through the albums, go through who's in the band at the time of the album, as we usually do, because it's a lot easier to do it that way, and point out any notable people that were on it. So up to date, they have released 13 albums. Some good ones, some not so good ones. But I love Whitesnake, and I think on every Whitesnake album, there are, I'd say the majority of the songs are pretty good. Yes, you go through. Now, if you don't like what I've said, I get it. You're allowed to. This is a personal thing, but it doesn't mean that what I'm saying here is gospel. It's my personal thing. And I think when you go through this, you'll see that it is split into two halves, and you do know which part of Whitesnake career that I love. I think that might have something to do with how old I am. But what I like about Whitesnake is that it covers all age ranges, and I do like the really recent rock stuff. Some of it's fantastic. I've seen them quite a few times. Last time I saw Whitesnake was on the Purple tour. If they tour next year, no doubt I will go and see them because they are one of my favourite bands. So here we go then. Coming in at number 13 then, we have the 8th studio album released in 1989, and it's Slip of the Tongue. On here we've got David Coverdale doing the vocals, Steve Vai guitars, Rudy Sarzo on bass, Tommy Aldridge on drums. Okay, Adrian Vandenberg was in the band, but he didn't play, wasn't credited but not recorded. He was credited but he was not recorded, he toured. We had some additional musicians on here. We had Don Airey, ex-Rainbow and now of course Deep Purple. David Rosenthal, ex-Rainbow. Now Claude Godet, I think Claude has played with Dio at some stage. I'm sure that's where I've heard that name before. Backing vocals, we've got Glenn Hughes, Tommy Thunderberg and Robert and Richard Page. Okay, first song is Slip of the Tongue. Love that opening, really good strong guitar riff. David's I don't like it when he screeches. I love it when he sings, but when he screeches he grates on me. The guitars, I don't like the guitar solo. there's just something about it. I mean, I love Steve Vai. He's a great guitar player, but I just don't think he fitted into Whitesnake. I was so surprised when I found out he was in Whitesnake, because it's way different from what he did when he was in his other bands and David Lee Roth. It's not too bad. Cheap and Nasty. It's okay. Probably with 10 years left before, back in 1979, I think it would have been better. But yeah, I just don't think it was just not one of my favourite songs. And then we get to Fool for Your Loving. I don't like this. His pants. I don't like what Steve Vai done to the guitar solo. Bernie Marsden's was far better. Sacrilege, absolute sacrilege. Ruined a great song. Now You're Gone. Well, if you know me by now, I don't mind a romantic song, but I don't like Slush. This is Slush. This is the Whitesnake that I don't like. I don't like this commercial sloppy stuff. It's just Kitten's Got Claws. Pretty mediocre track in my books. Screeching guitars that just don't sound right. I'm sorry, I don't like that one much at all. Wings of the Storm starts off good and then just, I don't know, I just don't get it, that one at all. It just, Steve Vai twiddles and it just doesn't sound right on a Whitesnake song. Then we get to probably my worst favourite song ever by Whitesnake, The Deeper the Love. Give me a bucket, please. Now I know the ladies like this and I understand that, but old hard rockers like me like rock. Whitesnake is rock blues, not this slush. On the other hand, the next track, Judgment Day, is fantastic. Love them riffs on this. Fantastic song. Great vocal from David. Classic Whitesnake, classic song. Slowpoke music. No, not my cup of tea at all. Can't stand the track. Then we get Sailing Ships. I like this one. It is really good. One of the better tracks. But what lets it down is when it goes to that rocket bit, you get a Stevie Vai twiddly guitar solo that just ruins the atmosphere of the song. Nice gentle guitar solo would have been better instead of this ugly twangy, and it spoils the track. I do still like the track though, but that guitar solo does grind on me a little bit. Okay then, to me this is the weakest Whitesnake album ever. And as much as I love Stevie Vai as a guitar player, I think he just is not fit into this band. It's a shame, but his style of playing was not particularly good for Whitesnake. At this stage of Whitesnake's career, David Coverdale was so focused on making it big in America. We'll talk about that later in the show, but this was not the right fit. But some of the tracks are good, and for the ones that are good, I'll give the Sonatio ranking of 3 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 12, we have the 12th album, released in 2015. It's the Purple album, the covers album of Mark III and the Mark IV Deep Purple songs. On this, it was the first album since 1989 that featured Tommy Aldridge on drums. So we've got David Coverdale vocals, Reb Beach guitars, Joel Hostra on guitars, Michael Devin bass, Tommy Aldridge drums. Can't remember who missed off the keyboard player. Okay, opens up with Burn. Great version of Burn. Whitesnake have always done a great version of Burn. Pretty solid. You Fool No One. I don't like this version at all. Love Child, one of my favourite songs from Off Come Taste the Band. Yes, they do this justice. And can I say that I think Reb Beach's guitar solo was better than Tommy Bolin's? A really good version. Don't mind that one again. Sail Away. It's okay. It wasn't the best Purple track, but I think this sounds a little bit better. They've fiddled about with it and I don't mind it. The Gypsy, I love the song The Gypsy, and this is one of the songs that they've kept it very to the original. Lady Double Dealer, no, I don't like that version. Mistreated, that's alright. Great guitar work from Reb Beach. I remember seeing him play this and he played it really well. Holy Man, not a bad version. Excuse me folks. Oh dear. Oh, everything's going wrong today. Let's take that off. Do it the old fashioned way. Sorry about this folks. Oh, that's better. Where was we? Holy Man. Yeah, Holy Man. Not a bad version. I'll go with that one. Might Just Take Your Life. Sounds nothing like the original. Don't like it. You Keep Me Moving. Nah, not very good. Soldier of Fortune, always good. Doesn't matter who plays the acoustic guitar. David Sinway sings it well. Lay Down, Stay Down. Nah, that's alright. And Stormbringer, corking. But at the end of the day, did we really need a cover album of old Deep Purple songs done by Whitesnake? Not really. Although when I saw them on that little package they was involved with Def Leppard and Black Star Riders, it was nice to hear Burn live and Stormbringer and the Gypsy. But it's an album I don't play much. But I'll give it an RTO ranking of 4 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 11, we have the 10th album, released in 2008, Good to Be Bad. First album in 10 years, nearly 10 years since Restless Heart. David Coverdale was on vocals, Doug Aldridge was guitars, Reb Beach was guitars, Timothy Jury was keyboards, Uriah Duffy was bass, Chris Fraser drums. So the first track, Best Years, pretty good track, got some really nice riffs on this one. Nice guitar work, both them, Doug and Reb. Cool track, like that one. Can You Hear the Wind Blow? Not too bad again, some really nice guitar work here. David sounds pretty good on the vocals. Cool on Me. Got an interesting riff on this, but it's nothing special. All I Want, All I Need. Here we go again with a Whitesnake love song. No. We'll leave that one, shall we? Good to Be Bad. It's an average track. It does what it says on the tin, really. All for Love. Again, one of them generic rock songs that just doesn't do much for me. Let Me Get the Summer Rain. I like this one. It's probably one of my favourite songs on the album. I've got the like a bonus disc, and there's an acoustic version of this on this, and that's pretty cool as well. Then we get my favourite track on the album, Lay Down Your Love. It's one of them bluesy rock songs that Whitesnake have always been damn good at, regardless of who's in the band. Oh, that's why I love this. It does hark back to the old days of Whitesnake, and it's nice that they go back and revisit that sort of sound. Love that track. Same with A Fool in Love. Again, another bluesy rocker. Very, very good. Got What You Need. It's okay. It's got a good solo in it though. Till the End of Time. Again, it's one of them tracks that they've gone back and revisited. It's in the same vein as Ain't Gonna Cry No More. Unfortunately though, David's voice has changed so much he didn't carry this off. It's a shame because it's a really good song. This album, mixed bag. Got some really strong tracks on it, but there is a little bit of filler on this one. And I'll give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 10 then, we have the 11th album, released in 2011, Forevermore. On here we have got David Coverdale, Doug Aldrich and Red Beach and Michael Devin, and this time on the drums we got Brian Tichy. First track, best track on the album, Steal Your Heart Away. One of my favourite songs of this, what I call the second era of Whitesnake. It's got a great riff, the guitar solos are brilliant, and David absolutely kills it on the vocals. Fantastic track. Then we get All Out of Luck. Another great track this is. Absolutely belting. The bass line from Michael Devin is superb. Great rock track. Love Will Set You Free. This is quite retro in places. It's going back to that soulful sound of Deep Purple. Round about the Stormbringer album. Pretty good track. Very enjoyable. Easier Said Than Done. It's solid enough, but it's not particularly a favourite of mine. Tell Me How. Terrific guitar work again. Doug Aldrich, fantastic guitar player. So is Red Beach. Absolutely belter. Then we get All I Need You, Shine a Light. It's okay, it's not brilliant. One of These Days. Whitesnake are trying to be Bon Jovi, and not very good at it either. Love and Treat Me Right. Awesome in places. When David Coverdale's singing, it sounds great, but when he starts screeching, and it doesn't sound right. I think he should stick with the parameters that his voice allows him to do now. Other notable rock singers do. I think David should, because when he does start to screech, it sounds horrible. And there's 2 or 3 times on this track he does, and it is, oh yeah, and it upsets me. It doesn't anger me, it upsets me, because he's one of my favourite singers, and I don't like him trying to struggle. A bit like me today trying to talk. Next track, Dog in the Street. Doesn't sound like, he's straining again, excuse me. Then we get Fare Thee Well, it's okay. Whipping Boy Blues, bit of a filler track. My Evil Ways, again, bit filler, it's okay. Forevermore, the title track's pretty good, really nice guitar solo. This album starts really well, there's some strong tracks, but as we go through the album they get a bit more generic, a bit more weaker, but the album ends strong with Forevermore. But it's a solid album, I'll play it and I don't mind it, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 9, we have an album. It's the 9th album, called Restless Heart. They've just done a reissue of this and remix. I'll talk about that at the end, but this should have been a David Coverdale solo project. However, EMI pressured him and recorded it as a Whitesnake album. So what does he call it? David Coverdale and Whitesnake. I don't like it when record companies push them in, you know, all they can see is dollar signs. I think sometimes these bands are ruled by big record companies. I think this is where it all started. He's lost faith with them, and I think it's absolutely right. It's got some, there's more subdued sound to this album, which we'll talk about, and yeah, we'll go through these tracks. So who played on this? Well, we had David Coverdale and Adrian Vandenberg, and it was the only album that he actually played on, although he'd been in the band since 1987. Guy Pratt, yes, Guy Pratt plays on here, obviously known from Pink Floyd and etc. Demi Carmassi on the drums, Brett Tuggle, another good session keyboard player, pretty good. So first track is Don't Fade Away, pleasant track, really nice, I like that track. In the Name of Love, again, nice subdued rock track, pretty cool. Restless Heart, it's okay, I don't mind that one or two. Too Many Tears, great song, absolutely belting song, and it's one of them songs they did on an acoustic that sounds great acoustic as well. Then we get Crying, my favourite track, strong guitar work from Adrian Vandenberg, what a great guitar player he is. Again, bass line from Guy Pratt, fantastic. Then we get Stay With Me, the Lorraine Ellison cover, worst song on the album. If David wanted to do a cover of this, he should have done it back in the 70s when he had a stronger voice. He just can't carry it, can't go on. That's alright. It's not a Whitesnake song, definitely a song of David Coverdale solo. You're So Fine, another nice track. Your Precious Love, great bluesy number, really good guitar solo from Adrian Vandenberg. Take Me Back Again, great bluesy old Whitesnake song that is, fantastic. Woman Trouble Blues, another good track, solid work from Adrian again. This album, certainly not a Whitesnake album, definitely a David Coverdale solo album, but the powers that be wanted it as a Whitesnake. I don't think the sound was right then either. I think David was not in a happy place when this album came out, but I've heard the remastered and it's really good. It's got a little bit more depth to it. And I've had a couple of quick listen to it, and I like it. I think it's better produced as well. And I watched a little video, and David was really excited about it, and which I'm glad about, because I think it was one of his bugbears. But on the whole, I do like the album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 8, we have the 13th and most current album, Flesh and Blood, from 2019. And we've got David Coverdale, Reb Beach, Joel Hostra, Michael Devlin, Tommy Aldridge and Mikel Lupi on keyboards, and he was the keyboard player on the Purple album as well. Excuse me. First track, Good to See You Again. Opening riff on this is fantastic. Although David's voice sounds a little groggy, I'll forgive him because he's David Coverdale. Gonna Be Alright, solid track, nice solo again. Then we get Shut Up and Kiss Me. This sort of goes back to them early days, bit of tongue in cheek. Okay, people say, oh, it's not politically correct, well, you can't sing like that. Oh, come on, it's only a bit of tongue in cheek. Shut Up and Kiss Me, great song. Hey You Make Me Rock. Cheesy song, but sounds good actually. Not bad at all. Always and Forever, a great traditional bluesy rock song from Whitesnake. Great stuff. When I Think of You, Colour Me Blue. I just wish they'd keep away from these slushy romantic songs. They don't need to do them sort of songs. There's bands out there that can do this. These should just concentrate on good solid rock songs and some nice slow bluesy rock songs. The next track, Trouble Is Your Middle Name. Great riffs in this, great track, but again David's vocals are a little bit strained. Flesh and Blood, the title track, solid. Tommy Aldridge, great drumming. What a drummer this man is. Still can perform at the highest level. Well I Never, nice tune. Again, David's vocals a little bit limited. I'm not taking the mickey or angry or not liking it. I just feel that his voice is not as strong, which is understandable. Then we get Heart of Stone, my favourite track off this album. And David sounds really good. He doesn't struggle. He sings from the heart on this, and it is fantastic. Get Up, great rocker. The guitar work is fantastic. Again, David's voice is a little bit groggy. After All, nice slow track, and David sounds great on this. He actually is singing within his parameters, and I love that song. Sanded Time, great solo. Tommy, great drummer on this. Fantastic stuff. Very solid album. Probably the best album they've made in a long time. Okay, David's range in his singing is a little bit off in places, but I'm not going to take that away from him. It's still a great track song here. He tries so hard to sing. He's very passionate still about music, which is fantastic. So I'll give this album an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 7. We have the 7th album, released in 1987. Whitesnake, or 1987. The recording band was David Coverdale, John Sykes, Neil Murray, Ainsley Dunbar, and Don Airy and Bill Kimono on keyboards. But that was not the band that took it out on tour. The touring lineup was David Coverdale, Adrian Vandenberg, Vivian Campbell, Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldridge. Don't ask why. But there you go. First track, of course, is the brilliant Still of the Night. First time I heard this, it blew me away. Played on the Friday Rock Show, and it just absolutely... I think I was away for the weekend with some friends, and we decided to go back to the... just so we could listen to the Friday Rock Show. How sounds that? Because we knew they were premiering this, so we went back, listened to it, and then went back down to the bar. Brilliant. Great song. Well, still one of my favourites. Then we get Bad Boys. Another good track. Great solo from John Sykes on this. Really strong track. Then we get Gimme All Your Love Tonight. Brilliant song. One of them sing-along songs. I remember singing along to this the first time, and then when I saw them the last time, it's still a firm favourite with the fans. But what I don't like about this is they did a single remix and they added a stupid guitar solo in. Why? No need to. What were they? I don't know what they were thinking. It was good enough without the extra waffle. Looking for Love. Pretty naff. Slushy, Whitesnake. Commercial Dribble. No. Crying in the Rain. I must be the only person in the world that hates this version. I don't like Whitesnake rehashing classic songs at all. Although there's a lot of people out there that love this version. I don't. I just don't like it. The only good thing about it is the drumming. Ainsley Dunbar. Brilliant drumming. And then the live version, Tommy Aldridge, great. But this version of it, no. Don't like it. Is This Love? No. Dire. Awful. Slushy. Straight from the heart. Reminds me a bit like Guilty of Love. I love that uplifting rocker. Great guitar solo from John Sykes. Fantastic. Don't Turn Away. It's okay. Not a favourite of mine. Children of the Night. This track kicks butt. It's great. Driving bass line from Neil Murray. It's tremendous drumming by Ainsley Dunbar. Great singing from David. Ace track. Then we get to Here I Go Again. What can I say about this version except I don't like it? The keyboard star, there's only one person that plays that good, and that's the maestro himself, which we will talk about when we get to the Jon Lord era of Whitesnake. This is not the worst version of this. The worst version is that upbeat start garbage. Again, why mend a song that isn't broken? Utter tripe. That this one's not too bad, but that uplifting commercial single version was awful. And the album ends up with a track called You're Gonna Break My Heart Again. Like that one, Goes back to the early days of Whitesnake. Solid track. On the whole, this is a pretty damn good album. Great comeback, different sound, but I like it. But take off the sloppy rubbish, get rid of the remakes, and I think this album would have been a bit higher than this. But I still give it a 9 out of 10 because there's some solid tracks on there. Good hard heavy tracks. Okay then, we are now entering the first phase of Whitesnake, and this is the bit that features our star Jon Lord, of course. To me, these next 6 albums are the best albums I ever done. It's that classic era for me, and I think that may be to do with my age. Don't get me wrong, what we've looked at before is great, but this is brilliant. So coming in at number 6 then, we have the debut album released in 1978, Trouble. On here we've got David Coverdale on the vocals, Mickey Moody on guitars, Bernie Marsden on guitars, Neil Murray bass guitar, David Dowell on the drums, and of course the one and only Mr. Jon Lord on the keyboards. First track on here is Take Me With You. Love this rocker classic song from the early band. Driving bass from Neil Murray, fantastic. Love to Keep You Warm. Jon Lord's keyboards on here are just fantastic as ever, and that great bass line from Murray, brilliant. Lie Down, a modern love song, great rocker. Love the piano from Jon on this, top drawer stuff. Then we get Day Tripper. This is a pretty soulful version of this song, but it's not very good. Night Hawk, Vampire Blues, very Mark III purple. I love that keyboard sound that Jon gets on this. It's quite funky. Great guitar work from both Bernie and Mickey. Terrific little track. Then we get The Time Is Right for Love. Again, it's one of the leftovers, I think, from the purple era. Great solo from Bernie Marsden, and Jon's keyboards. It's got that, still that funky sound to it, pretty cool. Then we get the brilliant Trouble, classic song. I just love Jon Lord's Hammond in this. You can imagine him hitting them and putting their head back. And again, you get a superb solo from Bernie Marsden. Belgian Tom's Hat Trick. Again, love Jon's funky keyboards in this. And then you get the little guitar play between Moody and Marsden. And not forgetting that great bass line from Neil Murray. Free Flight. This track is very soulful. Bernie Marsden sings lead vocals, and it goes back to that Ashton Lord sound as well, which and pace, which Bernie was involved in. Pretty good track. And then the last track on the album, Don't Mess With Me, a great rocker. Neil Murray's bass line in this is fantastic. Great solid performance of Jon. Pretty good. This album, debut album, awesome. This has got, I'd say, bits of Mark III, IV purple, a little bit of Ashton Lord and pace in there. Solid album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.1. Okay, coming in at number 5, we have the 5th album released in 1982, Saints and Sinners. Now, I don't know how many people know this, but When it was promoted, this is where Cozy Pal came in, but he doesn't drum on this album. Mel Galley is in the, if you watch him on Top of the Pops and that, Mel Galley's in the band now, but he didn't play on the album. Mickey Moody quit the band soon after this album was released. So the people that actually played on this album, well, I don't know how many people know this, David Coverdale, Mickey Moody, Bernie Marsden, Neil Murray, Ian Pace and Jon Lord. Yeah, this was Ian Pace's last album with them. But Mickey Moody did come back, and Bernie Marsden didn't. All a bit strange, but it's what's the legend of the history of Whitesnake. First track, Youngblood. Love this. Love the opening riff, and then you get that chunky bass from Neil Murray. Great drumming from Ian Pace. Fantastic track. Rough and Ready, classic rock track, boogie sort of sound. Great keyboard work here from Jon. Sounds fantastic. Great guitar solos as well. Bloody Luxury, belter. Great piano from Jon. Brilliant. Brilliant track. Victim of Love. Just love the bluesy guitar, the bluesy keyboards, and Neil Murray is fantastic on that track, and David Coverdale sounds fantastic as well. Then we get the proper version of Crying in the Rain. Beautiful song. Much better as a blues rocker. Love it. My favourite track on the album. And then we get Here I Go Again. The beautiful intro on the Hammond organ. You don't need the jazzed up version of this. You sit and listen and enjoy this. If you've never heard this version and you're a new Whitesnake fan, go back and listen to Crying in the Rain and Here I Go Again. Next track, Love and Affection. Great song. A legendary keyboard solo from Jon on this, and I love how David Coverdale introduces his own. Mr. Lord is gonna show you. You get one of his legendary Hammond keyboard solos, which is absolutely fab. Coming next track, number 8 on the album, Rock and Roll Angels. Solid track. Keyboards are the best thing on this. It's just in the background, but it holds the song together. Dancing Girls, that distinctive Hammond organ comes through in the background, holding it together with Neil Murray, holds the track together. Lovely, so much energy on this track. Saints and Sinners, great opening riff. That Hammond organ is eerie in the background. Great drumming from Pacey. Last time we heard Ian Pace with Whitesnake. Love this album to death. Played it a lot at the time. Jon Lord was on fire on this. Pretty cool album. So I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.4. Time for some more drink. Oh dear. That's better. Right, coming in at number 4 then. We have the 4th studio album, released in 1981, Come and Get It. Got the classic lineup on here as far as I'm concerned. David Coverdale, Mickey Moody, Bernie Marsden, Neil Murray, Ian Pace and Jon Lord. Opens up with the title track, Come and Get It. Great drumming at the beginning. In comes that driving Hammond organ and the great bass tone from Neil. Great track. Hot Stuff, fast, furious rock track with some great keyboards, excuse me, and a thumping drum from Mr. Pace. Oh dear, I am crogging today. Next track, Don't Break My Heart Again. Probably one of Jon Lord's finest performances in Whitesnake. I love how this starts, that great Hammond organ joined in with that bass line from Neil Murray. Truly a classic, one of my favourite songs, and a great guitar solo on this, absolutely brilliant. Then we get the fantastic Lonely Days, Lonely Nights. Again, slow, bluesy track dominated by the Hammond organ. Great vocal from David. Then we get a bit of a tongue-in-cheek track, Wine, Women and Song. Love the honky-tonk sort of piano from Jon. Bit of fun. Okay, it's not politically correct, but you got to remember this was the 80s. Take away the lyrics, you've still got a cracking song. Then we get another brilliant track, Child of Babylon. Just love the song, love the keyboards from Jon. Great vocal from David as well. Superb track. Then we get another single from the album, Would I Lie to You? Okay, tongue in cheek. The keyboards in this are very, very good. Iain Pace again, brilliant. Great track. Then we get Girl. This reminds me of something that could have been on Come Taste the Band. It's got that groove to it, pretty solid track. Hit and Run, great little rock track. The keyboard again dominates this, and the steady drum from Iain Pace, superb track. Then we get Till the Day I Die, great little acoustic at the beginning, nice keyboards again, great vocal from David, and then you get when it rocks up, you get a terrific keyboard solo from Jon. Fantastic. Solid album again. Some of Jon's finest keyboard work, some of Iain Pace's best drumming as well. Top notch album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, then coming in at number 3, we have the second album, released in 1979, Lovehunter. David Coverdale, Mickey Moody, Bernie Marsden, who sings vocals on one of the tracks on his own, Neil Murray and Dave Dowell's last performance with the band, and Jon Lord, of course. Opens up with A Long Way From Home, solid track. Love that little bit of keyboard that introduces the song. Great guitar solo from Bernie Marsden. Great track. Then we get one of the finest songs from Whitesnake, Walking in the Shadows of the Blues. Oh, Jon's Hammond organ sort of holds this track together. It's brilliant. Absolutely stonking track. Love it to death. Always have, always will. Help Me Through the Day, one of them great little blues slow numbers. Again, Jon's Hammond is superb. Nice guitar work, both from Mickey and Bernie on that terrific song. Medicine Man. The combination of them driving riffs, Jon's little stabs with the keyboard, deep, rich sound, spot on. You and Me, again, you got more of that little funky sound of the Hammond. Some great slide guitar from Mickey Moody on this, fantastic track. Mean Business. This song is all about Jon Lord. From the little pepper in the Hammond organ down to that blistering keyboard solo. Fantastic track. Then we get the classic Lovehunter, Mickey Moody, one of the finest slide guitar players in the country. You get the chuggy, what I call the chuggy keyboard from Jon, a stunning track, and it's much better live. Outlaw, one of them funky tracks. Again, you get that real funky keyboard from Jon on that. Fantastic. Rock and Roll Women, classic Whitesnake, classic Jon Lord. What more do you need? And then the album ends up with that little track that they play at the end of the concerts, We Wish You Well. Fantastic. Another belting album from Whitesnake. This is the first of the real classics. I love this album as much as I did when I got it, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.6. Okay then, coming in at number 2, third album. This is the best album from this classic lineup, without a doubt. Ian Paice's first drumming appearance with Whitesnake. It's the brilliant album Ready and Willing, released in 1980. So it's the first time you've got Coverdale, Moody, Marsden, Murray, Paice and Lord, and you've got practically 3/4 of Paice, Ashton and Lord. This is a brilliant album. Opens up with the brilliant, can I just say that again, the brilliant Fall for Your Lovin'. The only version of this song you ever need to know. I just love the guitar solo on this from Bernie, and when I saw them at that gig, Bernie came out and did this. Obviously I've seen Bernie play this in my own backyard as such, when him and Mickey Moody did a gig at my local pub. It's a great song. Then we get another brilliant song, Sweet Talker. Love the guitar work in this, and some great keyboards from Jon. Another great solo on the keyboards from Jon. Then we get a classic, Ready and Willing. The bass line on this is awesome. Didn't see Whitesnakes do this, unfortunately, but I did obviously see Mickey Moody and Bernie Marsden do it, and even that small crowd, we sang this to our heart's content. Brilliant song, one of my favourite songs. Carry Your Load, solid track, dominated by the wonderful Hammond organ. Then we get a stonker, Blind Man. Superb track, nice riffs, fantastic solo again by Jon Lord. Then we get the beautiful Ain't Gonna Cry No More. Nice gentle track, lovely acoustic guitar, great keyboards from Jon, and that, especially that little rocky bit at the end. Love Man. Love the funkiness of this, the funky bass line, the funky keyboards, and the great soulful voice of David Coverdale on this. Brilliant. Black and Blue, one of the boogie tracks, great piano this time from Jon. Then you get a little bit of the Hammond, but it's dominated by that piano. Fantastic. She's a Woman, one of the best keyboard solos from Jon. Fantastic mixture of piano, and then you get the rather freaky keyboards. Absolutely brilliant. Again, every track on this album is solid from top to bottom, and I'll give this an RTO ranking of 9.8. Coming at number 1 then, this is just a brilliant album. 6th album released in 1984, Slide It In. David Coverdale, Mel Galley, Mickey Moody, Colin Hodgkinson, Cozy Powell and Jon Lord's last performance on an album with Whitesnake. Opens up with a brilliant Gambler. Great start. Love the keyboards on this. Then you get that thumping bass line from Colin Hodgkinson. Great keyboard solo on this. Absolutely awesome. Second track, Slide It In. Awesome track. Stunking opening riff from Mel Galley. Great guitar solos. Fantastic. Standing in the Shadow. Love this track. Some great riffs on this. Mel Galley's guitar solo is fantastic. Then we get Give Me More Time. Opening riff. Awesome. I remember them doing this on Top of the Pops. While we're on this song, the B-side of this was the old blues classic Need Your Love So Bad, and basically it's Jon Lord playing a church organ in a church and just David Coverdale. It's superb. It's on the remix. When you get that box set, it's on that. It's terrific. I thought I'd just have to mention that. Then we get Lovehunter, No Stranger. Love that rich sound that John's keyboards. And then you get great guitar solos from Mickey and Mel. Slow and Easy. Slide guitar from Mickey on that is brilliant. I love the vocal on this. John's keyboards are awesome as well. Awesome stuff. Spit It Out. Love the bit with the guitars and Jon Lord in the background holding it all together. Great double drumming from Cozy Powell. Killer track. Then we get my favourite track, All or Nothing. One of Jon Lord's best guitar keyboard solos. Some great riffs on there. The keyboard solo is electric. Hungry for Love. I love that combination between Cozy and Neil on this. Colin as well is brilliant on the bass. Great track. Last track, Guilty of Love. Just a great rock and roll track. Very nice keyboards on there. Awesome track. This is a truly amazing album. Got some of the best songs that they ever put out. Awesome album. I love it to death. This version, the UK version, is quality. And it was Whitesnake at their best. And for that reason, I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 10 out of 10. But we're not finished. Of course, with David Coverdale's obsession with hitting America. They did a US remix version. I've not even ranked it, it's just getting an honourable mention. The start, the lineup on this version is David Coverdale. He brought in John Sykes, got rid of Mel Galley and Mickey Moody. By this time Jon Lord had gone back to Deep Purple. Colin Hodgkinson had gone. They brought in Neil Murray and Cozy Powell. The US remix version lowers the keyboards and bass and is more orientated around the guitars and drums. The US versions features some different guitar solos with additional bits of John Sykes. The bass parts were totally gone and Neil Murray went over them, and the US version included some of the new keyboard parts by Bill Kimono. Slide It In. Without John's keyboards it doesn't sound as good. I don't think they needed to disguise anything of Mel Guitar's guitar work on it. All John's done is add some twiddly bits, unnecessary in my eyes. Slow and easy. To play down the bass in this was sacrilege. Critical part of that song. And what's happened to the slide guitar? Love Ain't No Stranger. John's keyboard is just non-existent. How rude. Again, all or nothing. It doesn't seem that John's playing on it. It's just not important. And I find that an insult to Jon Lord. I really do. Gambler. Again. Why did they get rid of that keyboard sound? Okay, Guilty of Love. I actually like the remix of this. Neil's bass line's pretty good, and I think they did a good version of that. And same with Hungry for Love. Don't mind it. Neil Murray's bass line is pretty good on this. Then we get to Give Me More Time. I don't understand why they needed to re-record the guitar solo on this. There was nothing wrong with Mel Galley's. No disrespect to John Sykes, great guitar player, but what was wrong with Mel Galley's? The bit they had on at the end is awful. Spit It Out. Keyboards are totally obliterated from this song. Standing in the Shadow. It's not too bad. One of the better songs. Okay, why did this only get an honourable mention? As a great fan of Whitesnake, I was quite upset what they'd done to this album. I bought the picture disc. I've got the picture disc version of it, the one that's up in the thing now. I only ever played it once. When I got the Slide It In box set, I played it again, and that's what I listened to do this. And I just don't like this version at all. It's obliterated one of my favourite keyboard players of all time, and all because David wanted to crack America. I love Whitesnake, but I think this is one of the worst things that David ever did. He was going to crack America. He did it in 1987. So why obliterate this album? I just didn't get it. I really didn't get it. It was a bit of an insult to Mickey Moody, Jon Lord, Mel Galley. I mean, Mickey Moody had been in the band for such a long time. He just wanted to create this American sound, and that's why it didn't get ranked. It just got in the honourable mentions. I may have offended a few people with this, but I'm sorry, it's how I feel personally about the remix of Slide It In. I'm a big fan of the original version because it's some of Jon Lord's finest work, and to totally obliterate it was wrong. Anyway, this is controversial, but that's how it is. Thank you for putting up with my groggy voice today. Hopefully it'll be better for tomorrow. What we got for you tomorrow? Ooh, then and now. We're looking at the Eagles, one of the great country rock bands from America. And tomorrow's album artwork, we are looking at the studio albums of Magnum. A lot of it's done by Rodney Matthews, and I'm also included their compilation albums as well, because some of the cover and box sets, some of that artwork is outstanding as well. So that's all for tomorrow. Before we go, don't forget we got the quiz sheets available on the address below. Check in with Redbubble for merchandise. I'm going to go now because I'm now feeling pretty groggy again. So if I don't appear tomorrow, you'll know why. So take care for now, and I will speak to you all soon.